What's up, guys? I hope that you're having an awesome day today. Thank you so much for joining me for this video. What I'm going to be talking about is the 80-10-10 diet. So what happened to it? Where did it go? I'm basically going to be talking about the timeline, the progression of it, and how we got to where we are now, and some of the stuff that happened in between that maybe you weren't aware of, maybe you missed it. First off, I just want to say I'm definitely grateful for the 80-10-10 diet because it has helped me to heal my body in a lot of different ways. But I feel excited that I have this thing now where I'm like, yeah, I eat fruit, all kinds of tropical fruit, and I love it. 80-10-10, fruit-based, high carb, low fat, whatever you want to call it. It started out, and I mean, for me, I started out on it in 2008. And it was like 2008, 2009 when I started to like meet everybody who was eating fruit-based. At the cafe that I worked at, some of my friends that I was making, they were all eating fruit-based diet. So when I started it, they were like, yeah, good job. Everybody was exercising, had a lot of energy, felt really good. And it was what I call the honeymoon period. And we had great digestion. We were eating lots of food. Nobody was really gaining a lot of weight at this point. And yeah, everybody just felt really great. And it was all like peace, love, fruit, great. Then it started to morph into something else. So the original diet, the 80-10-10 diet, was written by Doug Graham. And then Doug had students that kind of offshooted into their own little realm, which was called 30 Bananas a Day. And they started to take some of the philosophies and twist them a bit, where like 80-10-10 was very much about eating when you're hungry until you're full, eating a variety of different types of fruits and vegetables throughout the year, keeping your fats kind of low, but not having no fat. And it was just a more balanced version of this extreme kind of diet. The 30 bananas a day sort of offshoot of this diet didn't really include greens and vegetables. You couldn't really have green juice. And it was basically highly focused around bananas. Now, 80-10-10 was also very focused on bananas, but more so because it was a convenient calorie source and easy to find. If Doug also recommended like eating a lot of mangoes, eating a bunch of watermelon, eating all different types of fruits. But the 30 bananas a day diet was more so focused on high calorie fruits, I would say, on dates, on bananas, persimmons. And if you were someone who wanted to like eat a ton of watermelons, they were kind of like discouraging that because they were like, oh, you're not going to get enough calories, you're going to fall off, it's going to be a big deal. And so I would say it was maybe just like a few years into eating this raw foods diet that I started to notice that there were some personalities that were becoming really aggressive with their opinions. And 30 bananas a day started to become more cult-like, I would say. And a lot of people were getting banned from the website for asking questions, for having problems, for needing more support, for needing to change things. And I, as well, was also banned. So there were a few major issues going on. One of the first ones I would say is weight gain. A lot of girls would come to this diet because they had eating disorders. And this diet was claiming to heal you of your eating disorder. And you can eat unlimited food. And so what would happen is these girls who were previously calorie restricting so much would now go into a sort of like binging phase of just eating massive amounts of calories and being told that it's totally okay and that if they just keep doing that, they'll eventually lose weight because of something where you eat a ton of carbohydrates like something genesis, I don't know. But they basically were told that if you just keep doing this, you'll get the results. Don't change anything, just do the thing that made you fat and then eventually you'll be skinny. And for some people, I would say it may have happened, but I'd say for most people it didn't happen. And I would have girls writing to me all the time like, I've gained so much weight, I don't know what to do. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, like this is terrible. And I started to question it. And I made a video about calorie recommendations. And the crazy thing was that the hardcore followers of Harley and Freely, if you didn't agree with Harley and Freely, not only would they get really angry and say a bunch of nasty stuff to you, or make videos about you, but all of their followers would also come over and be commenting on everything, just like basically spewing out the stuff that they heard over and over from Harley. And it was really crazy. And I had maybe like a year or two later, a bunch of people who had commented on this calorie video come back and apologize to me because they were like, whoa, I don't know what happened to me. I was like brainwashed or something, but I'm sorry for the way that I behaved, and that was ridiculous. The fact that it was even happening was ridiculous to me. I'm like, these people are like getting so crazy about calories. Like they're literally just like binging on food, gaining weight, and they're confused. Like any dietitian would look at that and be like, what did you think was gonna happen? So I think other people at this time started to question it as well. But when something is too good to be true, it's hard to let go of it. You're just like, oh, it sounds so good. I want it to be true. And this diet, it morphed into something completely different. So initially, it was all about raw foods. If you were eating a sweet potato, if you were eating green juice, if you wanted to steam your veggies, you were failing. And if you questioned any of this, you were banned. Then the leaders of this basically went against their own recommendations, which they pushed on people for years. They went against these recommendations, and now the new thing was to eat as many carbohydrates as possible as long as they're vegan. Doesn't matter how processed they are, just eat tons of rice, eat tons of processed sugar, all kinds of stuff. Put sugar in your water, drink sugar water, do all this stuff, and you're still gonna lose weight. It doesn't make any sense, but people did it. They did it, and they kept gaining weight. So I'm not sure how exactly what was like the first, Jenga piece that was taken out of this stack of craziness, but eventually, like, the pieces started to get pulled out and things started to crumble. And I don't know if I had anything to do with that. I definitely started to like stay away from it because it was a lot of drama and the people involved were really crazy. It morphed into like so many weird things. Like it went from, the Woodstock Fruit Festival was all about fruit and raw food and stuff like that. And they were pioneers, and then they were asked to not be pioneers anymore, but they were still welcome back to the festival. We're going to have their flights paid, free room, whatever. But a whole big stink was made about them not being asked to be pioneers. So they started their own festival. And that's cool, actually. Like, I'm like, yay, that's great that there's actually more festivals that people can go to because not everybody can make it to the Woodstock Fruit Festival. And so this other festival, the Thai Fruit Festival, seemed to always have like crazy drama going on as well. So it was starting out as the Thai Fruit Fest, and then it was like a bike fest, and you basically weren't allowed to come unless you had a bike, and you were going to be biking all over. And then if you were eating all raw, you also were like kind of like crapped on at this festival too. Like you had to eat cooked food or you were basically like just a sissy. And it was just so bizarre. And I think most people, if they didn't like spend the time getting like indoctrinated and kind of brainwashed, if they just like saw this immediately, they would just be like, what is this? This is ridiculous. But I think when you're in it just happens so slowly. You're just like, oh, okay, like, yeah. It's like people like marketers, they just get you to keep saying yes, 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 yes. And before you know it, you bought some crazy thing. You're like, wait, I didn't even want that. And so I think a lot of people had this like moment where they just kind of woke up and they were like, wait a minute. Like, I just gained 20 pounds. I'm sweating my butt off in Thailand on a bike. And I'm broke, living out of a hotel, trying to make YouTube videos to follow this random person. And I think a lot of people had like wake up moments of like, wait a minute, I need to get my life back. I need to get my diet in balance. What started out as this like innocent fruit-based diet got like just gnarled into this pizza, vegan fast food binging crazy diet. And a lot of people took that full ride all the way to the end. And it's a little bit sad too, because I know some people came out of this having health issues because they were not supplementing, they were not eating enough vegetables, they were focused on refined foods, eating way too much fruit, not caring for their teeth properly, gaining weight, and I'm sure there's other issues that people had as well. So it's sad that it had to get to this sort of blow up point, but I feel like now people are a lot more balanced. I'm not sure exactly what happened. Maybe just a lot more different YouTubers started to come up and be voices of reason in different areas. And there's still a lot of people that eat a fruit-based raw foods diet. And that's amazing. I eat basically a fruit-based, mostly raw foods diet. But I also am so open to supplementing where necessary and looking at life and health in a holistic way, because it's not just about food. It doesn't matter if you're eating a raw foods diet, if you have all this other stress, or if you're not sleeping well, or if you're not socializing enough, or if you're not feeling satisfied in the work that you're doing. So there's so many different aspects of health, and I know that you guys have heard me talk about this before, about how there's tons of different aspects of health, and you can't just focus on one of them and fixate on it and try and make that one perfect. You kind of have to have a more balanced approach for all of it. So I know that a lot of you guys are probably affected by all of the stuff that happened, and I would be curious to hear your comments down below on this topic. Let me know maybe what your experiences were during this process of transition. And I have heard from a lot of you, and you've commented and said like, oh my gosh, it was so much drama, I had to like stay away from it for a while. But I think that it's in a really good place now. I think the vegan diet has taken a really good turn, and I'm excited. It seems like a lot of celebrities and different people are trying a vegan diet, and it's super cool. So if you guys have any questions, make sure you comment down below, comment your opinions, make sure that you request videos as well and recipes like that. I thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure that you subscribe so that I can see you next week, and I will see you in another video soon. Bye.